Hey guys, I wanted to make a quick video on the rampant xenophobia in Hong Kong right now. A lot of it, perhaps could be organic, but it certainly looks like a big portion of it is being helped along. And I don't know if the rate that this is being spread out is indicative of how easy people are to manipulate, or it's more an issue of creating a platform where everybody's able to show their true colors, especially nasty people. A quick search online and you're going to find quite a lot of anti-mainland Chinese content. And non-Chinese ethnicity people, they tend to kind of dance around the issue and make it a little bit more about spying or intellectual property theft and that kind of stuff. Although there are a few that slip through that look pretty shocking. But there's one group of people who are absolutely blatant about their racism. They don't hide it, and that is Hong Kongers. Now, genetically speaking, most of the people in Hong Kong who you see spewing this anti-mainland Chinese hate without any reservations are actually of Chinese ethnicity. But I'm going to call this racism instead of xenophobia because they make a point to specially distinguish themselves from Chinese, even saying that they are not Chinese. Particularly in the case of the gentleman that I'm going to feature today in my video, named Woppa. Now, this isn't a one-off. There's a lot of people doing this. I mean, even, singer/activist Denise Ho says that she is not Chinese.
We are neither Chinese nor British. We are Hong Kongers.
Now, before she was banned from the mainland, she used to proudly say she was Chinese, but now that she doesn't have that financial interest there, she is now no longer Chinese. She is Hong Konger. Anyways, I'm getting a little bit off topic here. What I want to say is you may want to call prejudice from Hong Kongers towards mainland Chinese xenophobia, but I'll be calling it racism from here on out. Now, the level of racism that's going on and the things that are being said would not be tolerated anywhere else. They'd be called out in a New York second. And the reason I want to focus on Woppa is because he's quite an interesting character. He's a Hong Konger living in Canada, a place that's celebrated for its multiculturalism, and living in a society where he's going to be hoped to be accepted by the people around him, while spewing this hate towards mainland Chinese, particularly in Hong Kong. He spends an incredible amount of time trying to paint Chinese as uncivilized, as unpolite, and to further distinguish himself as non-Chinese. Basically, a lot of his posts have this air about it where he's trying to prove to everybody that no, he's not Chinese, this is why he's not Chinese, and he's better than these people. So before I continue, let's listen to a few words from Woppa himself.
Hi everyone, this is Woppa, a Hong Konger from Canada. This is not only a fight for Hong Kong, but for a world that values democracy, freedom, and human rights.
Oh, isn't that lovely? Just heartwarming. Human rights for everybody. It kind of sounds like Oprah Winfrey when she's giving everybody a car. You get human rights, you get human rights, everybody gets human rights. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of fine print. Human rights in terms of living without discrimination, if you are African or mainland Chinese, I'm sorry, doesn't include you apparently. So let's take a look at that. Woppa decides to post this video here, and he doesn't exactly say what his intention is, but he uses Africans as a measure of uncivilized behavior. So in a single tweet, he manages to be derogatory towards Africans and mainland Chinese. A 2-for-1 combo, apparently. So after people decide to call him out on it, he does what he usually does and calls them Wumaos, which is a derogatory term for people who are usually pro-China, and says that actually all he did was translate a tweet. Never mind that this is exactly the kind of content he curates and digs out. And never mind that he took the time not only to find it, not only to read it, not only to translate it, but to type it out and post it without actually thinking about the words that he's writing or even beginning to imagine what's racist about it. So then what he does is he calls on his critics to have fun, to fact search it. And, well, that's exactly what we did. It doesn't take much effort. A 2-second search would reveal that actually the Shanghai Food Expo isn't until next month. So he calls on us to fact check him out, right? And we do it. You think he'd be happy. Now, he seems a little bit upset. He says that apparently an army of Wumaos fact checked him, exactly like he asked us to do. There we go. I'm calling myself a Wumao here, too. And what he ends up doing is he says that okay guys, it was from last year, and it doesn't really make the main point irrelevant. That's the thing though, isn't it? He's not actually telling you what is the main point. What is his purpose? What is he trying to say by posting this video and saying those things? So as a matter of fact, what we have here is, it's not us missing the point. It is him missing the point about how racist, nasty, and hateful he is. This has completely gone over his head. So, I mean, let's play this game anyways. If he really wants to play this, it's last year, it's still relevant. If he really wants to play this game, no. Actually, the first time this video appeared was in 2007, and it was on a Korean website, and the Shanghai Expo is not set up like this, and any visitors to the Shanghai Expo would have badges on them, and the food on the plates was not cooked, and the video was sped up. I mean, this is basic stuff that he could have taken a look at this video and figured out on his own. So then in another post, to try to distance himself from the racism, he says, look, I can do this too. And he posts another video of some people in a certain neighborhood, and he says, well, actually, you can see from the street signs it's in a different neighborhood. See, does it make the video irrelevant? Well, if the underlying video was racist, which in his example it's not, no, it wouldn't be relevant. It could be in Disneyland. It doesn't matter. The point is that you're a racist. Now, this isn't a one-off for Woppa. He does this all the time. He continually tries to paint mainlanders in a negative light. And he even uses the absolute telltale sign of a racist, saying, go back to where you came from. And this is pretty ironic with him living in Canada. So to highlight a little bit more of this kind of shameful, mind-boggling logic of Woppa, there was a video going around online where a CNN reporter had asked a Chinese government official, why would Chinese people risk their lives to exit the country in such a way, referring to the 39 bodies found in that truck in England? And China responded by saying, why are you making this about us? Like, the bodies aren't even confirmed as being Chinese. They still showed their concern, saying that everybody's concerned about this. But why would you do that? That's irresponsible. And in turn, Woppa posts this video and says, shameful China, trying to make this about themselves. When it was CNN who asked China the question. I can't even figure this one out. It's also particularly interesting to see Woppa all of a sudden become a champion of not using tragic deaths for your own selfish purposes, when a 15-year-old girl in Hong Kong who committed suicide was being used by protesters to say that, oh, this is a suspicious death, I think it's the police who did it, and the mother came out to say, no, listen guys, she had issues, she had mental problems, and this was a suicide. After that, a lot of protesters had actually sent the mother nasty messages because they were upset that she was not letting them use her daughter for their cause. And what does Woppa do? He, of course, uses it for his cause, and he congratulates the world for paying attention to this case, completely ignoring the mother's wishes and doing exactly what he accused China of doing, which they weren't doing, himself. And about those deaths, the other really interesting thing is that Woppa was one of these guys who jumped on top of that bandwagon saying that, oh my God, Chinese people trying to escape China. Even though by the time he posted that tweet, the information was already out there that they're not confirmed as Chinese, but that's okay. Posted it, one of his followers corrected him, he deleted it, and then even said, oh, now that it looks like they're Vietnamese, I think I'm going to wait for more information. All of a sudden, he values due diligence. All of a sudden, even though there are confirmed Vietnamese people on board by this time, he doesn't want to talk about it anymore, he doesn't want to speculate, and he wants to respect due diligence. So now 5 days have passed since those tweets, right? And there hasn't been a single update from him. Absolutely nothing about this story anymore. He couldn't care less about this story anymore, basically. It had a specific purpose. It was to exploit it. It was to do the exact same thing that he condemned China for doing, even though they didn't do it, like I said. So now all of a sudden he has a void to fill. His China-bashing content has dried up. So what do? Of course, you go for the low-hanging fruits. Most products are made in China. How difficult will it be to find some products that have malfunctioned from China? So he finds a video of an e-bike with a lithium-ion battery exploding and saying, see, this is why we need to boycott Chinese products. You know, ignoring for a second that a large portion of lithium-ion battery explosions are not due to a manufacturing issue. Ignoring for a second that the exploding Note 7 batteries, all of the ones that were manufactured in China by ALT were fine. It was the ones that were manufactured by SDI outside of China that were exploding. Ignoring all of this, this is a pretty easy one, right? So this is what he posts. while there's nothing else to bash China on for the time being. So now I'll finish this off with Woppa's latest tweet, which is hoping that he can encourage more mainland students to choose Saskatchewan for their education when going to school in Canada. And you may not know, but Saskatchewan is known for being a little bit more racist than other parts of Canada, including having violent racist attacks. Now, I will say everybody I've ever met from Saskatchewan has been absolutely amazing, absolutely lovely people. But you can be sure that Woppa's intention is not for them to run into these friendly people, especially considering how he tries to portray mainland students, what he says about them, and especially considering that it was in direct response to somebody saying that he hopes these mainland students find people who don't take shit from communists. So yeah, you know exactly what he means with that one. So this sadly is the truth behind a lot of the mindset behind a lot of these Hong Kong protesters, and it's a lot more complex, it's a lot more nasty, it's a lot more deep than what most people are being shown by the media. And a lot of mainland Chinese are being assaulted, they are being beaten up, they are being threatened in Hong Kong, and a lot of them are moving back. Just about 3 weeks ago or so, I helped one of my friends move back from Hong Kong over to the Shenzhen side. I put his stuff in my car, and as I was passing through customs, the Chinese customs officer looked at the boxes in my car and said, "又是一个搬回来," which basically means another one is moving back. They're just pouring back over because they're just too scared in Hong Kong, and it's people like Woppa who's encouraging this kind of hate. You know, even America's poster boy, Joshua Wong, the guy that they're supporting, he is on camera refusing to condemn the violence towards mainland Chinese. And you know, so the interesting thing is what LeBron James said was correct, is that a lot of people are misinformed about the situation. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you give them as much evidence as you need to support that. If you come anywhere close to saying that, well, I don't have an opinion on Hong Kong, or I think people are misinformed, you are going to be blasted. You're going to be blasted by the media, you're going to be blasted by your fans, and it's the most ridiculous version of free speech I've ever seen in my life, where you're not only demanded to speak, you're demanded to have the correct opinion, and the need for you to speak even exceeds your right to the Fifth Amendment, the right to remain silent. So I'm going to end the video here, and depending on the response, I might make some more videos. I've got a lot to say on the issue. It's not a very popular opinion to have. Twitter is actively removing followers from people who speak out against the protests. I've posted evidence of this on my Twitter also. So, you know, we'll see where this goes. I think a lot more people are waking up to the situation. There's a lot more people coming out in the streets, even tonight, in support of the police, and I think people are waking up. So, well, let's see where this goes. And if I get a good response, I'll make some more videos. Until then, see you next time.